You ever get into an argument with somebody that thinks they know what they're talking about, but it's pretty clear after a few seconds of talking to them that they don't? Case in point, I'm at work the other day, and some guy comes in, and he goes to the front desk and asks the lady there for access to one of the patients. This patient is a minor child, and we say, you need to have proof of parentage, to which he then produces a birth certificate, which doesn't really mean shit, honestly, because these days, any regular jack-off that has a computer and a rudimentary understanding of document forgery and access to the most basic of apps could try to print out one of these falsified documents and present it as if it was real. And since the medical receptionist at the front desk knows this shit, she tells him he needs to have some court paperwork to prove that he's the father. And then like clockwork, he starts raising a stink about how it's illegal, that we're denying him access to his own child, and blah, blah, blah. Typical blowhard bullshit by somebody that doesn't have a leg to stand on, but they know what if they put on the full court press long enough, you'll get exasperated with their efforts and probably give in. This ain't my first rodeo with somebody using these kind of tactics, so I feel pretty confident in that assessment. This next part is where it gets interesting, and I almost blew a gasket. The front desk lady gets flustered, sick of dealing with this shit. He's very insistent. She comes to my office, she tells me the story, and then she also adds this little cherry on the sundae that social work has it in their notes that this guy's pretty much been an absentee father for the last decade or so. And since he hasn't been around much and the only other parent we have on file is the mom, who we've met, he's shit out of luck. She asked me to handle it, and since I'm always down to piss in somebody's cornflakes, I walk over to where he's sitting and I say to him, "Sir, I've been told the story and I hear that you want to see the patient, but unfortunately that's not going to be able to happen tonight. The care team and social work has gone home because it's after 5 p.m., so what you can do is call them tomorrow and try to figure it out if they can make an arrangement for you to be able to visit. They're probably going to ask you for some proof of parentage, so do you have any civil court documents that state that you're the father?" And he looks at me and goes, "Do you have any civil court documents that say I'm not the father?" And I just sat there for a second like, are you fucking serious? Now, while I'm sitting there trying to figure out how I'm going to approach that dipshittery, he suddenly gets this expression on his face like, "Gotcha." Now, he must have thought that he had me painted into a corner here with his logic, and then he gets cocky and tilts his head kind of 75-degree angle and, yup, literally saying it out loud and making me want to instantly slap the taste out of his mouth. The funny thing is he remains calm in his body posture, but he's just being a dick verbally. And then he tries to pull some Jedi mind trick bullshit on me by very calmly saying, "I understand where you're coming from, that we can't see the child tonight, and if you're telling us we have to leave, we will, but we will be very dissatisfied." "Oh no, you're going to be dissatisfied? Let me run and get a pillow to cry into because I've committed this trespass against you, sir. I'm so terrible. How dare I try to do my job and leave you without a sense of full satisfaction?" So now the full gravity of the situation starts to sink in for me. This guy is painfully stupid, and I just need to walk away, or today's going to be the day that I finally lose my cool to a point where I get fired from a job for flipping out on a customer who got cute with the mouth. While the wheels are turning in my head on that notion, a few seconds have gone by, and he's still looking at me with that cocky expression, and I just got this Cheshire cat smile under my mask like, this stupid motherfucker has no grasp of the concept of a false equivalency. Which for the uninitiated means somebody has two standards that they think are comparable and they fucking aren't. Because having court papers to prove you're the father actually means something. Why would I need to have papers that say you're not the father? Then I'd have to have papers that say that he's not the father of all the kids. That's fucking retarded. The onus is not on the facility to prove that you're not the parent. The onus is on you to prove that you are the parent so you can have access to a patient that's a member of a vulnerable population. This is a child. And it's a hospital. We don't just open the doors and let anybody root around in that motherfucker. All right, this isn't a fucking petting zoo where you go in and you pay the fee at the door and then you get to go touch all the goddamn sheep and goats and shit. No, this is a human being whose life you apparently have not been a part of, but then you showed up with a different woman and another fucking kid that I can only assume is yours because you can't stop spilling your seed all over town. Then you come here and throw a wrench in my gears and fuck up my day with your faulty logic thinking you're Johnny Cochran Jr. and you're going to out-debate me on this. And then you start nodding like you think you're a fucking genius and you're not. You can't even see the stupidity of your own backwards logic. This isn't apples to apples. It's apples to fucking plums, you stupid cunt. And those fruit aren't even the same goddamn color. This is a hospital. We protect the patients. It's just like if you get pulled over by the cops and they ask you for registration to prove ownership of the vehicle. You're not going to answer back with, well, do you have any proof that I don't own the vehicle? Because that's going to piss the cop off, and then they'll just run the VIN number, and if it's not your fucking car, they're probably going to pull you out, slap you in cuffs, and take you to jail. There's safeguards that have been put in place in our society, rules, procedures, policies, to stop people like you from just showing up anywhere and think they can do whatever the fuck they want. Why? Because certain populations need to be protected. Old people, the mentally disabled, the very medically vulnerable, young children. Now call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure that's the same reason that they have to have your information on file at school and you have to show a photo ID when you go to pick your kid up. The same standard applies here because this is a fucking hospital. We don't know who the fuck you are. You're just some asshole off the street as far as I'm concerned. You could be a fucking pervert that likes to show his dick to little kids. We don't know, so I'm going to err on the side of caution. Now the final part of this, the piece de resistance, is that you came in wearing this stupid checkered shirt. Very tiny squares in the colors of white, lime green, and navy blue. And you paired it with jean shorts that are hanging off your ass and a pair of bright white, fresh out of the box Nike Air Force Ones. Definitely doesn't scream someone who's in charge. And if that isn't bad enough, you thought to complete the ensemble with a hat that matches the shirt. And what kind of hat do you get? A fucking bucket hat. It's not 1995 anymore, douchebag. You're not the singer of the New Radicals. And then you've got the fucking front brim flipped up like you think you're hot shit. But in reality, you just look like an ass clown. And I'm not going to get into a debate with someone who presents himself this way. I already know I'm smarter than you because I'm not dressed like a fucking 6-year-old. Maybe next time you want to get your way from somebody, change your attitude, dress like an adult, and bring the requisite paperwork, you ignorant piece of shit.